Hello, welcome, as always. Welcome to the aftermarket analysis session. This is the cost of market analysis session. Here we look at what happened in Nifty and Bank Nifty. We try to read the aftermarket order flow well, attempt to read the footprints accurately, and observe where the buyer's interest was and where the seller's interest was. If you are new, want to learn motor flow, or want to learn how to use GoCharting effectively, you can join this live session every day at 5 p.m. Indian time. The link to this live session is uploaded on the GoCharting's Discord and Telegram community before 5 p.m. And another important thing is that we have launched separate YouTube channels for GoCharting in Spanish, French, Hindi, and English. So if you are new, you can subscribe to all of them and join the community. Okay, all the links are provided in the description. So today, let's see where in Nifty we found buying and selling opportunities and what confirmations we observed. Before that, let's take a quick look at the volume profile to see what confirmations it has been giving us over the past few days. So there was a simple confirmation from the volume profile. Yesterday, there were two nodes formed in the volume profile, meaning Friday's market had this one and this one. We marked both of them. If it breaks above the upper side, then this was the low we had until now. The low has not been decisively determined in Nifty yet because the market is in a super downtrend. Okay, so it would be best if you look at the low according to your own price action or according to the volume profile, as quite lower levels are being formed, which is creating a somewhat larger playing area. This is why the market continues to follow. Okay, so today let's see in detail what confirmation the order flow has indeed given us above these levels, where the buyers specifically showed interest and where the sellers clearly showed interest. Okay, so now we will try to read the footprint properly. Just one moment please, as we take a second to ensure everything is in order. Okay, now we will carefully and thoroughly try to read and interpret the footprint properly and accurately. But before that, we should know what delta is, because with the help of delta, we will use the footprint here. Try to read the footprint, right? Now, what is this delta? In simple language, if I were to explain it in just one line, we call the difference between buyers and sellers as delta. Like the first candle of Nifty, the delta of this first candle, what we have here is 78. There is no negative sign ahead of it and it's in the green box. So that means the delta value of this candle is 78,000, and it is on the positive side. So that means there is more buying activity in this candle, more buyers. How many more than sellers? 78,000. This is what the delta tells us, that it's a green delta, meaning it indicates buyers, and how much more value buyers have compared to sellers is 78,000. Now look at the next candle. What is the delta of this candle? It's negative. How is it negative? Because there is a negative symbol in the red box above. So that means this delta here is denoting sellers. And how much it denotes sellers, meaning it means the value of sellers is 56,000. So this means that inside this candle, there are more sellers compared to buyers, and how many more sellers are there? 56,000. This is what delta has informed us here. The delta of the first candle is 78,000. That means there are more buyers inside this candle. How many more? 78,000 as compared to sellers. What did the second candle show here? That there are more sellers. How many more are there as compared to buyers? 56,000. We have a simple idea here. Any candle, with a positive delta has more buyers inside it, and then we look at the value. All right, in the next candles, again, there are more sellers, more sellers. It is clearly evident that if we look at the delta of any candle, it is clearly visible who is stronger inside that candle. And we are going to use that here. So for the first candle's delta, if you will see two types of delta here. One, candles whose delta is quite heavy, and the other candle, whether it is positive or negative. Look at this, 78,000, 56,000, 50,000. And on the other side, only 1,000, only 8,000. Okay, so there are two types of delta. One, the delta is from candles whose delta value is quite high, whether on the positive side or negative. And the second is from candles whose delta is quite low. Only 1,000, 20, 10,000. Okay, so what is the difference between these two candles whose delta is quite high, whether on the positive side or the negative side? Those candles are heavy buying or heavy selling has occurred. And the candles with heavy buying or heavy selling have the potential to clearly indicate the market direction to some extent. On the other hand, candles with very low delta do not have enough potential to clearly indicate the market direction. So what we will do here is we will pick those candles that have a heavy delta, whether on the positive side or the negative side. In Nifty, we will pick a delta of 30, whether it's on the positive side or the negative side, meaning it should be above 30. We will read the order flow at the end, even if it's negative, but it should be above 30. The delta of the first candle is quite high every day. The delta is very high every day. Okay, so watch this very carefully. Why watch it? Because look, there's a positive delta, but the direction is opposite here. However, one benefit you might have is that if a positive or large negative delta emerges near a level, so that makes sense, like in the case of Nifty. The data of the first candle is above 30K. Will we read this candle as red? Is it more? There is a positive side delta, right? 78,000. Is it more? There are more buyers. This means the delta has informed us that within this particular candle, there are more buyers. No sound. I think everyone else can hear my sound. Yes, everyone else can hear it. Aurora, please check your internet connection, etc. Okay, so the first candle told us there is a positive delta. So in a positive delta, there are more buyers within this candle. And on the right side of the multiply, there are buyers. On the left side, we have sellers. So there are more buyers. So what we will do is only read the buy side and see which particular place has got the most buyers. So if we look at the right side, buying of 98,000, buying of 71,000, buying of 55,000. According to the first candle, this is the strongest buying zone where buying took place. And all this buying plays a very important role. Why the first candle? Because it happened above yesterday's volume Oiken node. What happened in the next candle? Again, there was significant selling from above 30K. If we read this, even in the next candle, the selling is from above 30K. So in this candle too, there are more sellers. In this candle too, there are more sellers. So which particular place has more sellers? Look at 59 and 28, and the next candle at 33 and 32 and 43. It happened here as well. There is quite a large selling within this candle, meaning an overall scenario is being built here. What is being built? In the first candle, buyers attempted to make the market bullish. But what happened was that all the buying activity within this candle was absorbed here. How do we know that this buying activity was absorbed? Look at the next candle. This was a buying zone, and after the buying zone was formed, where did the next few candles break out? Did they break out upwards or downwards? They broke out downwards. So, in this candle, all the buying activity was completely absorbed, and the buying zone was broken with significant selling. And then, in the next candle, we also saw a considerable amount of interest. In this candle, there was no buying attempt at all, and there was nothing on the positive delta side. So, we look at where a possible entry could be. Here, there was significant selling, forming a selling zone and a resistance zone. A pullback occurred right around this zone, a substantial pullback, and we observed a downtrend. Okay, now we see one more candle, two more candles, which showed a significant negative delta here. Okay, if we look at this candle, the largest delta so far has emerged on the selling side at 97. So within this candle, we see where that particular zone is where the most selling occurred at 45, 28, and 27. These were the places where the most selling happened. Again, the selling zone was marked. Now, this selling zone was formed, and in the next few candles, where did the breakout occur? It broke out downwards, so that means this selling was not absorbed anywhere, and significant sellers entered here again. Selling happened everywhere, meaning the first buying absorption happened here, then sellers entered, resulting in a downtrend. Another important area emerged where significant selling occurred. This place was also important because it was yesterday's resistance zone, and continuous selling kept happening everywhere. A pullback occurred, and in this candle, a buying attempt was made just above that selling zone. Buying was observed around the 40,000 mark. But the next candle indicated that all the buying within this candle at the 24,000 level was absorbed here, as the next candle gave a breakout to the downside. A pullback occurred again, and you can see negative delta appearing everywhere repeatedly. The same selling zone was touched again, and again with no interest from any buyers. Continuous selling from the seller center occurred is a pullback happened where the selling had started to initiate. And a downtrend continued. Okay, let's see what happens next. Again, Nifty came back to this zone during the pullback, but look at this candle. There was a buying attempt with a positive delta of 54. And where did that buying attempt occur? Look at this, 24 and 23. Which side did the breakout of this zone occur? On the upside, so that means there could be some bullish activity here, and indeed, there was quite a good one. Look, another buying attempt occurred. The largest volume so far was within this candle, and a solid buying attempt. But all of this buying was absorbed here. We marked the buying zone, and now the next candles gave a side breakout. A buying attempt also occurred on the downside here, but still, a super bullish volume came in here. From this, you can understand that there is 3 times the volume on this candle, so all the focus should shift to this candle. But what happened here was that the buying was absorbed, right? And which zones were the buying absorption zones? This pullback came not exactly a take and pinpoint, but in still, no candle gave any closing above it. Another pullback came and down. Okay, so this was a quick analysis video of Nifty. Now, if we look overall at what happened in Nifty today, where the buyer's interest was and where the seller's interest was. The first candle where buying happened, when this buying was absorbed. Exactly at this buying zone, While breaking this buying zone, significant selling was observed. There was a pullback at the selling zone, downtrend won, and yesterday's whip zone was broken quite effectively, with selling, and selling continued everywhere. It came back on the pullback, downtrend. And this time when it came back on the pullback, one buying attempt was made. That buying attempt did not break downward. It broke upward. But whenever it broke upward, you won sold, buying attempt happened, and this buying was absorbed here, right at the same pullback where the buying was absorbed, and this happened, okay? So, one clear confirmation from the start of buying absorption, then aggressive sellers. Again, buying absorption there, okay. This was today's Nifty, where the order flow gave a clear-cut confirmation everywhere, which was quite good. Now, let's look at Bank Nifty. In Bank Nifty, there was almost the same kind of confirmation. But what didn't happen in Bank Nifty? What didn't happen was that there was no buying within the first candle. On the 915 candle here, there was significant selling visible in the first candle itself. And look, again, there was selling in the second candle. Around 22,000 negative delta selling occurred. And it held for the next 23 candles. But there is nothing that can be called positive data anywhere. This selling zone was respected well. And there was a downtrend, again with selling. And this was the area with the most selling, around 28K data, with a particular selling of 36K. After this selling, there was an opposite turn from here, and this was the place where selling absorption occurred, and this downtrend ended. If we look at today's Bank Nifty overall, this was the place where sellers were interested. Sellers entered first and on the downside. This was the place where selling started to be absorbed somewhere. Throughout the day, Nifty and Bank Nifty kept moving within these two ranges. So this was the quick analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty. Now, for any doubts you have from the session, please unmute yourself and ask.